a comparative philosophical study of the realistic cosmology of Gong Thought and quantum field theory. Gong Thought and quantum field theory. Abstract. In contemporary physics, quantum field theory stands as the most fundamental framework for understanding the universe, defining the foundation of reality, not as isolated material particles, but as continuous fields, permanently permeating the entirety of space-time. According to this framework, the classical notion of a vacuous vacuum is not absolute nothingness, but rather a potential reality, where energy perpetually fluctuates, constantly generating and annihilating particles. This paper conducts a comparative philosophical examination of the profound interpretative convergences between the field concept of contemporary physics and the realistic cosmology of Gong Thought, proclaimed by the living Buddha, medicine Tathagata, Yonghwa Maitreya Buddha, who came to Savesegi. Within Gong Thought, Gong presents a stark contrast to the traditional understanding of sunyata taught by Shakyamuni Buddha. It serves as an absolute ontology, signifying that the universe is eternally changeless, indestructible, and entirely full, as an intrinsic reality, avoiding reckless scientific reductionism. This study comparatively examines the reality of the vacuum, uncovered by quantum field theory, alongside the ontology of fullness in Gong Thought. Furthermore, it analyzes the metaphysical status of the great radiant light of the living Buddha, medicine Tathagata, Yonghwa Maitreya Buddha, as the primordial structure pervading all cosmic phenomena, thereby proposing a unified direction for rigorous dialogue between contemporary science and philosophy. The universe was understood as a mechanical arena where isolated particles, possessing localized mass, collided and combined against the background of an absolute nothingness, known as empty space, or a vacuum. However, the emergence of quantum field theory, the most profound achievement of modern physics, directly refutes this material fragmentation. In quantum field theory, particles are no longer viewed as independent realities. Instead, they are merely phenomenal consequences, resulting from the continuous excitation of all-pervading fields at specific energy levels. Consequently, the binary distinction between background space and solid matter has collapsed, exposing the physical truth that the universe is inherently devoid of emptiness. Yet, while this advanced physical framework successfully models the mathematical behavior of fields with extraordinary predictive precision, it exhibits structural limitations when attempting to provide a metaphysical interpretation of what this all-pervading, continuous reality signifies. Within human spirituality, the source of life, and the great cosmic principles, science demonstrates that fields fluctuate, but it remains silent on the existential reason for why these fields exist, or how they flow into the absolute principles of human relationships and the return of the soul. To complement this metaphysical void faced by contemporary quantum field theory, and to offer a new interpretative point of contact, this paper introduces the Gong Thought of the living Buddha, medicine Tathagata, Yonghwa Maitreya Buddha, who came to Savesegi to conduct a rigorous comparative philosophical analysis. The living Buddha, medicine Tathagata, Yonghwa Maitreya Buddha, did not arrive at truth through human practices or cultivation. He is the original Buddha who entered Savesegi, fully possessing the primordial great radiant light and absolute understanding from the absolute beginning. By contrasting the discoveries of quantum field theory with the eternally full realism of Gong Thought, this study aims to reframe the essence of physical space through the language of existence, demonstrating that humanity and the cosmos are fundamentally inseparable parts of a single magnificent field and ocean. Quantum field theory and the reality of the vacuum. In classical physics, a vacuum denoted a completely empty state from which all matter had been entirely removed. However, when quantum field theory unified quantum mechanics with the uncertainty principle, the definition of a vacuum underwent a radical revision. According to quantum field theory, even if every single particle were completely removed from a given space, the underlying primordial field itself could not be removed. The lowest possible energy state of a field is defined in physics as the quantum vacuum, or the ground state. This vacuum state is by no means a serene nothingness. It is a dynamic arena of quantum vacuum fluctuations, where particles and antiparticles ceaselessly undergo pair production and pair annihilation. Modern physics has therefore mathematically and experimentally established that space cannot remain empty for even a single moment, and that a vast energy permanently permeates the entire universe. This quantum field theory paradigm, established by physicists such as Richard Feynman and Julian Schwinger, brought an end to the worldview centered on material and isolated particles, revealing the continuous reality inherent in space itself. Nevertheless, because this physical approach is strictly confined to modeling the physical attributes of fields, it lacks an existential framework to explain why cosmic space is filled with such fullness, or how this fullness maintains an organic relationship with human existence. The fullness of Gong Thought, contrasted ontologically with quantum fields. Gong Thought, proclaimed by the living Buddha, medicine Tathagata, Yonghwa Maitreya Buddha, who came to Savesegi, provides an exceptional philosophical and ontological principle capable of explaining the fullness of space, discovered by quantum field theory. To ensure academic rigor, a clear distinction must be established between the traditional concept of sunyata in older Buddhist philosophy and the core essence of Gong Thought, while the historical concept of sunyata taught by Shakyamuni Buddha emphasized the transience and emptiness of phenomena and the non-existence of a permanent self. The Gong Thought of the living Buddha, medicine Tathagata, Yonghwa Maitreya Buddha, presents a realistic ontology that moves in an entirely different direction. Gong in this framework does not imply a state of voidness or a vacuum. Rather, it signifies an absolute reality that transcends space-time, an eternal, unchangeable, and indestructible fullness. This ontology of fullness in Gong Thought forms a perfect, comparative philosophical parallel with how quantum field theory views particles and the vacuum. In the principle of the ocean and waves, taught by the living Buddha, waves are continuously generated and dissolved by the wind, yet the disappearance of a wave does not mean that the underlying ocean has ceased to exist. The wave merely appears to arise and perish upon the phenomenal surface, while the ocean, the foundational reality, remains changeless and eternally present. The interpretation of a particle as an excitation of a field in quantum field theory directly aligns with the Gong Thought explanation of a particle as a wave arising upon a single vast and eternally full ocean. Thus, the energy-filled vacuum, mathematically described by quantum field theory, can be understood as a powerful scientific clue and interpretative point of contact, demonstrating that the universe is inherently full as an unchanging reality when viewed through the lens of Gong Thought. Comparative interpretation of the great radiant light and the foundational structure of quantum fields. The realistic cosmology of Gong Thought goes beyond merely describing the fullness of material space. It clearly identifies the absolute reality of that fullness. It defines this reality through the cosmic principles of the great radiant light, infinitely emanating from the holy body of the living Buddha, medicine Tathagata, Yonghwa Maitreya Buddha, who came to Savesegi, and the Ushnisha light rising from the crown of his head. The great radiant light may be compared with the primordial energy of the quantum field that permeates all space and generates matter. Within Gong Thought, the great radiant light is the eternal light of life that fills the cosmos, compassionately illuminating the root of human existence and guiding humanity toward absolute principles. The ㅡGong light is a verified and real physical record of pure light that penetrates the limitations and dimensions of space-time and transcends material separation. Within Gong Thought, the ㅡGong light is the absolute principle of world peace and the light that allows humanity to return to ㅡGong, the living Buddha. Medicine Tathagata, Yonghwa Maitreya Buddha, is Dipankara Buddha, who bestowed the prophecy of future Buddhahood upon Shakyamuni Buddha. In the past, he is the Messiah, who came to this world to save humanity. As the master of the Yonghwa world, he does not acquire knowledge through human learning. He is the primordial, great radiant light itself, having created all things and cosmic principles through this light and knowing them fully from the absolute beginning, while quantum field theory describes the universe as being filled with invisible fields. The perspective of Gong Thought reveals that the true nature of this invisible field is none other than the grand cosmic realm of the great radiant light of the living Buddha, the existential reason why all things and human beings maintain transcendent and organic relationships across space, and why connections endure through life and death to culminate in the return of the soul, is that all beings have existed from the very beginning within a single, completely full ocean of the great radiant light of the living Buddha. Consequently, the fullness of the vacuum and the continuity of matter, uncovered by quantum field theory, are expanded through Gong Thought beyond mere physical laws, serving as an interpretative foundation that reveals the universe and humanity as a single magnificent structure, bound by the primordial light of life. Conclusion: by conducting a comparative philosophical analysis of quantum field theory, the pinnacle of contemporary material physics, and the Gong Thought of the living Buddha, Medicine Tathagata, Yonghwa Maitreya Buddha, who came to ㅡGong, this paper has clarified a profound interpretative point of contact regarding the realistic structure of cosmic space. Quantum field theory successfully dismantled the classical notion of empty space, demonstrating that the universe is filled with continuous fields and energy, thereby exposing the limits of atomistic materialism. However, science merely describes the behavior of matter. Mathematically, it cannot provide an existential reason for why the universe exists in such a state of fullness. In contrast, Gong Thought declares that the universe is never empty. Through the profound principle of the ocean and waves, it proclaims an absolute reality that is entirely full, thereby offering contemporary scientific discoveries. An ultimate philosophical and ontological paradigm. Is the universe truly separate and empty? At the point where the discoveries of quantum field theory meet the absolute principles of Gong Thought, we realize that existence is completely devoid of emptiness. We are beings, like waves, perpetually moving, according to conditions, upon a single vast ocean. That ocean is the eternal fullness of the great radiant light, and the ㅡGong light of the living Buddha. Medicine Tathagata, Yonghwa Maitreya Buddha. It is hoped that this comparative philosophical study will serve as an academic foundation, linking the field concepts of modern physics with the realistic principles of Gong Thought, and contributing to the establishment of a new cosmological paradigm in which science and philosophy engage in a mutually supportive dialogue.